Hey, good morning, Justice Warriors. How are you guys? I am here. What is it? It is 1:11 at 11:15. I should have done 11:11. Dang it. All right. Well, at least I'm trying to do this thing where I state a time that I'm going to start my live, and then I actually do that, actually start at the time that I say I'm going to. And I just got really sick of hearing myself apologize when I was reviewing my videos, but now I feel like I'm going to have to apologize for being on time because I'm sure that's going to throw a bunch of people. Anyway, I have a lot I want to discuss, and I see that I am still all alone. So let me just run down my routine stuff. Please hit that like button. Make sure you're still subscribed. Share the video if you like it. Mark, woohoo! Hey, if you want to email me your phone number, I can include you in my group text to let you know in a text when I'm coming on live. Not that I always remember to do that. And as I'm saying that, I am remembering to put my microphone on. So the last couple of days, I've maybe forgotten, but I usually have it nearby. So maybe it's worked anyway. But one day I had it by a plastic baggie and the bag kept rustling. So that was like the day before yesterday, I think. Anyway. So many things to remember. I did text my crew that I was going to come on at 11:15, and then you made it. So congratulations, you win the prize. You can turn on your notification bell to ring if you'd like to be notified when I do a surprise live. As you can see, I'm still trying to go with the minimalist set, but I missed my words. I missed my love will save the day. We haven't seen the tranquility in a while. And, these ones are good to keep around to remind us all. Where should I start? I have a lot. This might be a long live, you guys. If you're ready, strap in. I like the less is more. Me too. I know. I even was thinking not doing the words, but we'll see. We got these words back too. These are my favorite words. I think these were the first words that I ever had in my set. Like last year, I always had that somewhere in the background. And, it is a biblical quote, but I don't like to get talking about religion or politics on my channel. I'm here for justice. I'm here for true crime. I'm here for my peeps. And yeah, I like to keep it positive. And could there have been any more new trolls in my chat yesterday? Like, you guys can F off. Like, if you want to just like sit still and lurk, be welcome to, because, that's always fine. I will tell the trolls and everyone, like Mark knows, because he used to work for YouTube, that you're actually helping a channel and their algorithm when you troll. So for that, we can thank you. And especially when you make snotty comments in the comment sections and then your other troll friends chime in, all that is awesome for the algorithm. So, one of my mentors tried telling me when I was blocking a bunch of folks or when my mods were, and she's one of my mods, and she was like, you don't want to block people. That's bad for your algorithm, bad for your numbers, bad for, your income once you get there. And I was like, I really don't care, but thank you for the information. Good to know. Okay. So Mark says they will come soon. Bex, where are you? Yeah, they will come soon. They came out in droves on Shan's live the night before last. And I love this no drama, nope, troll trap set. Trolls, come see my lives. I will change you. Hey, Claudia Pala. I just stick with the first names. Howdy doody, Claudia from AC, New Jersey. Jersey girl, Anna Bean. Hey. So I don't recognize your name, Claudia. Welcome. And I sure hope you're not a dumpster fire troll. So, and I don't mean that in any derogatory way towards anyone, including the dumpster fire, whose name is like Beetlejuice and shall not be said. So, I don't want to offend anybody. If I do offend somebody, I apologize. It's not my intention to be offensive. It's my intention to be straightforward, and sometimes that can be offensive. There's a nuance to it that sometimes I have and sometimes I know have. So just like it's an old Steve Martin joke from the 70s, some people have a way with words and other people not have way. Yeah, you guys remember. It's probably from Let's Get Small. Anyway, Claudia says, started watching you since The Beautiful Girl in Truckee. Well, that's where I started. KIELY got me really fired up really early on because I knew that the whole thing was a crock, and I knew that it was going to take a long time to sort out, if it ever gets sorted out. But even if it never gets sorted out, that doesn't mean you shouldn't give it the good old college try. And Claudia says they unalived her in an SUV-ish. Yeah, I have my theory. It's disgusting. So I want to talk more about A for J's live that Shan dissected in her live the night before last. That was a 5-hour live, you guys. I listened to it yesterday morning, and I re-listened to the entire thing on double speed this morning because I had to. I actually watched the original uncut version from the dumpster fire horse's mouth last night. And as painful as it was also kind of glorious because it was just hilarious. I mean, funny, not funny, right? And she needs to be called to the carpet. And you know what? If she wants to come after me, I say, bring it. Bring it. Okay. I double dog dare you. Please come after me. I need the attention. Right, Mark? And Mark needs the attention. Please, trolls, go after Mark. He loves the attention. Let's see. Hello, Annie Ruler and a Bean. Yes. OMG, me too. And those awful friends of hers. So, in listening to her uncut version, and I listened to it straight through the 50 minutes last night. It was like my bedtime story. And then this morning, listening to Shan's analysis of it again on double speed. And it's hard to listen to anybody on double speed. I usually will do like 1.75 at the fastest, or 1.5, or even 1.25. And Shan, like me, she talks quickly. So putting it on double speed is kind of silly, but it was a 5-hour live and I didn't want to spend 5 hours on it. So I put it on double speed and I got through it, and I was really glad I did. There were still places that I needed to rewind it. So I'm going to dissect me dissecting it. So I'm kind of going to like do a little rehashing of my video from yesterday because I wasn't very thorough because it was all just so much. I'm going to do some rehashing of Shan's video. I might even do a little hashing of the original, but there's also this whole other thing I want to talk about. So one of my mods, and let's see. Sandra Lankford, thank you for sending me your address so I can stalk you. I will send you your prize, your Justice A to Z white hat so you can bedazzle it. I will send it to you, and I will seriously shred your information. I don't need it for nothing, and it's lovely that you trust me with it, so that I can get that hat to you. And the other person who won, I have their name written down in my third notebook. So the other person who won, I said who it was yesterday, and I don't think they were here, but I'll try to track them down. Of course, I let them know in the comment section you won, and they were the first commenter, so they won the black Justice A to Z hat. So the other thing I want to share, I'm just going to get right to it. Everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of starting a conversation, always hoping to open up a healthy discussion where we can all learn together, grow together. What else? Become better people. I mean, yeah, we're all just human and we're all going to make mistakes and, maybe trip over our own feet. And that's okay. You just pick yourself up by your bootstraps, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward, right? And let's see, YouTube brings out the best people and liars. So what I thought I was going to say, because I always like put my own words in there before I can get to the whole sentence, which I have to slow myself down so I don't misread it. Thought you were going to say YouTube brings out the best in people and the worst, because I think it does. It's one of those things. It kind of brings out the best in humanity and the worst. I mean, the best is that we all care about each other. We care about Ms. KIELY. We care about the fire victims in Maui. We care about injustices of complete strangers, right? That's the best part of human nature, in my opinion. The worst is when we are, all about our own ego and like, oh, I'm going to be the best channel ever. And I have to have the first information and everybody else is wrong and I'm right. And I'm going to steal their information and try to make it my own and all that crap that we see a lot of. And I think that that is a natural tendency of humanity, and it's kind of a very childish tendency that we have to temper. So, I think it would be ridiculous to deny that you have even a shred of that in you, because, I mean, I will admit that I might want to be like that sometimes. Like, I want to be the queen of the YouTube streets. I want to be Christina Randall. No, I don't. I love that Christina Randall is herself. I love that all the content creators are themselves. And I just want to be me. And I'm just happy to be here. And with my 4,000 subs, I am so good to go. You don't even know. Like, I am ever so freaking grateful to have a foothold in this community for over a year now. I never, ever, ever thought that would be possible. I never thought I'd start my channel. And if I did start it, I certainly didn't think I'd get subs and I didn't think I'd last long. So anyway, let's get to it. I didn't do the rest of it, did I? That all my videos to date have been made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. I will try not to use my hands too much because it makes the video glitchy and it's annoying, right? So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Anna, you slid past my bots. Lucky me. Yes, Kylie Mae Rodney. No truth. No one talking about what happened. Accidents are talked about. Yeah, that entire 50-minute thing from what I call Holy a Troll. Holy a Troll. That entire 50-minute interview, first of all, it wasn't an interview. There was maybe one or two questions asked, but it was mostly just, the leading and letting her read the script, essentially, in my opinion. And they didn't say anything that wasn't already common knowledge, like really, really common knowledge. They did use a lot of phrases that like Scammy used, and I'll go over some of that in detail. So Mark says, I want Christina Randall to push hard for justice for KIELY. Same with Duty, Ron, and so many others. Didn't Christina Randall bring KIELY up recently? I'll have to check. I don't watch her all the time, but I do pay attention to what she does. She does some great stuff. Like yesterday, I was bringing up the Kendrick Johnson case. I don't think I put that link in the description with all the rest of the links yet, but I'm going to remember to do that today. I have it written down and everything. So sad, Mark. Ugh. And Duty Ron, I love him too, and his retired partner. I used to. He was one of the channels that I started YouTubing with. Not so much no more. That whole thing with Nick Wren really tanked my trust, because that was just a stunt. That was an absolute stunt. And this is a great platform, but people are using it for the wrong reasons and people are abusing it. And that's what I think Nick Wren was doing. So first, let me get to this other thing, okay? My trusty mod sent me a USA Today article that's brand new, and this is the title of it. Ronnie Long, North Carolina man who spent 44 years in prison after wrongful conviction. Okay, 44 years in prison. And this article is from USA Today. It's from January 9th, 2024. And he was awarded a $25 million settlement. So the first thing that caught my eye was the 44 years, the $24 million settlement. And you guys know I often talk about the case that's in Ohio, Dean Gillispie, who won $45 million last year, November. So, like November of 2022, after fighting for 11 years, after spending half of his life in prison for essays that he did not commit, that he had been cleared on, and then they suppressed the evidence that cleared him. And they intentionally locked him up for various reasons, some of which we might know, some of which we might not. But he made a settlement of $45 million. So it said right away that this was the second largest settlement of its kind. So I thought, oh, are they referring to Dean Gillispie? Dean Gillispie, I never had heard of until last year, like February, and never heard of it. And it was in my state. And I was like, how did that slip by me? Well, this is how, because the information is suppressed, because not only is it atrocious, but the people who intentionally wrongfully convicted him have never to this date been investigated. So these people are trying to protect themselves. So let's not talk about Dean Gillispie. That might be the largest settlement in US history for wrongful convictions. I don't know. I'm going to keep researching it. But I'm going to read you some of this article. In North Carolina, man, it's very similar to Dean Gillispie, but 44 years instead of 23. So I think he was 46 when he was sprung, and he'd been imprisoned since he was 23. The crimes happened when he was 21, but he didn't commit the crimes. It was impossible for him to have committed the crimes. And he was finally exonerated with the DNA evidence 12 years ago, and then it took him 11 years to get the settlement. I mean, these people's lives, let's see. So yeah, and it's fine. I think all the content creators, it's like I ebb and flow with who my favorites are, and I'm fine with people ebbing and flowing with liking me or not liking me. I got some criticism yesterday from some alleged people that follow me that said, oh, now you're just terrible, doing what you're doing with dumpster fire uh, troll, the A troll. And so I was just like, okay, what's up? Whatever. That's fine. Have your opinion. I have mine. 2024 is going to be a great year. Let's clean this place up. We have to do the work ourselves and not leave it to others. Each one of us needs to use our voices. Casey the cat, I love that. That's exactly true. I feel like that in real life. I feel like that in cyberspace. So a North Carolina man who served more than 44 years in prison after being wrongfully convicted in 1976 has reached a historic $25 million combined settlement in a civil suit, his attorney said Tuesday. Ronnie Long, 68, settled a civil lawsuit against the city of Concord, North Carolina, about 25 miles northeast of Charlotte, and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, according to Duke Law School's Wrongful Convictions Clinic. Long's total settlement includes $22 million from the city and a previous $3 million settlement from the State Bureau of Investigation. The clinic, which represents Long, said the settlement is the second largest wrongful conviction settlement ever recorded. The settlement puts an end to the wrongful incarceration lawsuit that was filed by Long's attorneys in 2021 and also included a public apology from the city of Concord. Sonia Pfeiffer, one of Long's attorneys, noted the rare apology and told USA Today that it was crucial for Long's healing process and vital to the settlement. The city acknowledged Tuesday its responsibility for the significant errors in judgment and willful misconduct. Willful misconduct. Let's just stop right there, because I think that right now, and I think YouTube is going to help propel this, I think we're in a new phase of our democracy where we can hold these people accountable. And the correct phrase is hard for me to say. It doesn't come out of my mouth very well. Prosecutorial misconduct. I think we have prosecutorial misconduct in a lot of these cases. And I think, like yesterday, I was talking about the Watts case, and I think DA Rourke, who's now a justice, I think there was prosecutorial misconduct with him. And I think these people need to be held accountable. And it's sort of like, looking at World War II, there were war crimes made back then that were prosecuted 50 years later after people were even deceased. But it was still important to set the precedents and to complete the justice, right? To sort things out. It's really important. So let me just keep going. Um, the willful misconduct by previous city employees that led to Long's wrongful conviction and imprisonment. We're deeply remorseful for the past wrongs that caused tremendous harm to Mr. Long, his family, friends, and our community. Yeah, imagine if he had kids that he was unable to feed because he was in prison. Imagine the ripple effect of whether he had kids or not, for his friends, for his family. Not to mention for him, not to mention for the freaking victim who got zero justice, who got negative justice. That enrages me the most. So I want to keep reading this, but I want to stay caught up with you guys too. So you're not late, Bex. You are right on time. We were waiting for you. Anna Bean, that's horrible. OMG, the Watts. Yeah. Amber Truth Seeker had another really good live last night. She does the best coverage of that case. I love her channel. She's got such a deep understanding of it. She's very, very thorough. And I don't agree with all of her opinions, but I do agree with a lot of her opinions. We have to be careful of the censorship industrial complex. And hey, Anna Bean and Mark. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to keep up with you guys, but just to warn you that I probably will not be able to keep up because I've got lofty goals of reading this and going through my pages of notes of that other stuff too. So you're welcome to chat amongst yourselves, but just know that I might not catch it as much as I dislike missing your comments, because you guys have some really great ideas for sure. And it's just nice. Anyway, where was I? The Concord City Council said in a statement, while there are so many measures to fully restore to Mr. Long and his family all that was taken from them. And again, how about the freaking victim? Because this was another essay. Come on. Through this agreement, we are doing everything in our power to right the past wrongs and take responsibility. And of course, he was Black and the victim was not Black. What happened to Ronnie Long? Long, who is Black, was convicted by an all-white jury in 1976 for the R word of a prominent white woman in Concord, according to the Wrongful Convictions Clinic. The jury had been selected by local law enforcement leaders who removed potential Black jurors from the jury pool, the clinic said. Despite no physical evidence connecting Long to the R and burglary he was accused of, his attorney said the prosecution used the victim's identification of Long as their main piece of evidence. Imagine what she's been going through her whole life ever since, if she's still alive. And if she's not still alive, rolling over in her grave, so to speak. But the prosecution's evidence was the product of a suggestive identification procedure arranged by the police to target Long, who did not match her original description of the assailant as a yellow or really light-skinned Black male, the clinic said. Interesting. I hadn't really caught that as I breezed through this article. Evidence, should I read that again? The product of a suggestive identification procedure arranged by the police to target Long, who did not match the original description of the assailant as a, quote, yellow or really light-skinned Black male, the clinic said. So his skin wasn't even the right color. She said it was somebody Black but super light, and he was not super light. Evidence collected from the crime scene and a local hospital included more than 40 fingerprints that did not match Long's and a R kit that was not shared with the defense, according to the clinic. Okay, this is sounding a little bit like the Idaho 4 case, not shared with the defense, in my humble opinion. At the time of the trial, Concord Police Department officers gave false testimony about the evidence. I've seen this happen, you guys. This is something that Army, that channel, that dumpster fire is doing. She's trying to say in general that some of us content creators are trying to poison the public against trusting officials and trusting the FBI. Are you kidding me? First of all, my thing is that these authorities are all we have. We have to work within that system. Second of all, you should be skeptical of everything, especially in crime, especially in true crime, especially in situations where people have a tremendous amount of power. And when you see the writing on the wall, when it's common sense, question it. If it's not an issue, then why is it an issue for you to question it? Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Where are we? Phone went blank. And not shared with the defense. According to the clinic, at the time of the trial, Concord Police Department officers gave false testimony about the evidence. It is devastating. I never believed that that stuff could happen until I worked in the courts, okay? I saw it all the freaking time, pretty much every single case. I literally, in my opinion, professionals committed perjury on a regular basis, and it was just understood and accepted, and no one cared. And I saw judges do it too. This is why I sued the King County Superior Court. This is why I won. Okay. Okay. I don't like to talk about it either for a lot of reasons because I'm not the litigious type. And, you know, I could have not won. It still wouldn't mean that I wasn't, you know, legit. It just would have meant that I didn't have a good attorney or that there was some technicality or that I was up against the system. I sued the freaking King County Superior Court. Okay. They were my employer. Anyway, we don't need to go into that today. Long, 21 at the time, received 2 life sentences. And this was what, in 1999, 2000, so 23 years ago. The settlement was in 2003, I think. It was a big settlement. Anyway, it was a big case. Big. Let's see. After serving 44 years, 3 months, and 17 days in prison, he was released in 2020. He can never get this time back. Long had appealed his case in February 2020, and a federal appeals court ruled that Long's due process rights were violated at his trial, according to the clinic. Long's conviction was then vacated, and he was released from prison on August 27th, 2020. So that's another 3.5 years until his settlement is awarded on paper. Let me tell you, this could be appealed for 10 years. He might get that payment in the next 12 months. The fastest he would probably get it would be maybe 1 month. So that's how they're able to really leverage you to a lower settlement too, because the bigger your settlement, the more likely they are to appeal it and to drag it out for another 20 freaking years because they're a giant entity. To them, it's nothing. To you, you might not be around in 20 years, right? And even to your lawyer, like your lawyer wants to settle your case as quickly as possible because they got bills to pay, just like Lindsay Rodney. They got bills to pay. They got their payroll to keep up with. They got to keep the lights on. You know, they need to keep a steady flow of income if they're not one of these giant law firms with gazillions of dollars all the time. You know, the kind of law firms that the president of the University of Idaho ran. Those kinds, the sharks, the Shark Tank. Anyway, let's stay focused. Later that year, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper granted him a full pardon of innocence. In 2021, a state commission awarded Long $750,000 as compensation for victims of wrongful incarceration. Wow, less than $1 million for 44 years of prison. You know, again, it's racism. If he was white, I think he would have gotten a lot more. I mean, Dean Gillispie is a white guy. He had half the time and twice as much money. Interesting, huh? He then sued in federal court in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Associated Press reported, no amount of money will ever compensate Ronnie Long for the 44 years he spent incarcerated and the indifference of numerous elected officials who fought to keep him incarcerated. Again, protecting not only themselves, but protecting their buddies and protecting their system. So that they can all continue to be as corrupt as they want to be, and they're all, doing each other favors and a wink and a nod kind of thing. It's real. Elected officials who fought to keep him incarcerated despite overwhelming evidence of his innocence. Despite overwhelming evidence of his innocence. Jamie Lau, a Duke Law clinical professor and Long's criminal attorney, said in a statement Tuesday, while he was in prison and his parents passed away, so effing sad. He missed birthdays, graduations, funerals, and other important events that mark a person's life, Lau added. He can never get that time back. Cannot undo the trauma. Wrongfully convicted Minnesota man set free after nearly 2 decades in prison. That's a different article we're not going to talk about. Exonerations across the U.S. Since 1989, there have been over 3,400 exonerations. Okay, that means people found guilty, it's overturned, which is a snowball's chance in hell. If you're found guilty, you are effed, okay? Just being honest. But 3,400 in our country since 89. Exonerated people spent more than 31,000 years in prison for crimes they did not commit. I'm telling you, this could happen to any of us. This is why we have to fight for justice across the boards, because an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. Those are not my words. Those are Martin Luther King. Let's see. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, the number of exonerations has also grown by almost 70% since 2017, 32,000 compared to 1,900. The registry said in its 2022 report on wrongful convictions in the United States. This is a lot of wrongful convictions. Some of them are accidental. Some of them are because honest mistakes. Some of them are due to buffoonery, and some of them are due to corruption and covering, maybe for people like Scammy in Kiely Rodney's case. But they're not pinning that one on anyone. The Idaho one, they may or may not be pinning on a fall guy. In my opinion, they clearly are. The report noted racial disparities. And let me also just say about racial disparities, when you're from out of town, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you're from out of town and it's a small town, you're going to get nailed. Been there, done that. Okay. The report noted racial disparities in major crime categories and reported that Black people comprise 53% of the 3,200 exonerations listed in the registry. According to the Equal Justice Initiative, false accusations and faulty forensics are some of the main causes in wrongful convictions. Judging from exonerations, innocent Black Americans are 7 times more likely than white Americans to be falsely convicted of serious crimes. So up until a few years ago, I honestly never understood why Black people were trained their whole lives to never speak to the police. I thought that was weird. I had no idea. It was probably in about the year 2017, I started to figure that out, like way before COVID, years before that, maybe even before 2017. But up until then, I mean, I lived my whole entire adult life. I'd worked in the courts and I didn't understand that. I thought that was just like a weird cultural thing with Black folks. But then it's like, oh, yeah, if you talk to them, they can and will use your words against you. So who killed, who unalived Garrett Phipps? Is that the name that I'm thinking of? The little kid up in upstate New York, and they pinned it on the soccer coach of the college. Not remembering names right now. His mother's name was Tandy. She was white. Her boyfriend was Black. Her ex-boyfriend was white, and he's still law enforcement. And I believe that he framed the ex-boyfriend. Anyway, I'll put a link to that. That's a really good documentary, really good, and it's still active. And I remember the sheriff's deputy, the ex-boyfriend, I want to say his name was John Jones, something like that. Anyway, if you guys want to look it up. Jessica Tandy, no, that's an actress. I know, I do get it confused. And I can't look it up while I'm reading this because I would be looking it up on my phone. But if you want to look up who killed Garrett Phipps, Garrett, I think that's the last name. It's a 12-year-old in a small town in upstate New York from like 10 years ago. And I'm going to get back to this. Okay. And her first name was something like Tandy, I think. Anyway, I'm doing this. I'm getting back to it. Judging from exonerations, innocent Black Americans are 7 times more likely than white Americans to be falsely convicted of serious crimes, the report added. Is that it? Oh, that's the whole thing. Okay, I'm done with that. Good. Phew. So now I can look it up because I might be having that kid's name completely wrong. Who unalived? It's the saddest story. I mean, the kid is a kid. Who unalived Garrett Phillips? Phillips. And it's on Amazon Prime. And the name of the town is Potsdam, New York. And I think it was an HBO documentary. Nick Hillary is the soccer coach. He was one of the college soccer coaches. And then let me just find the mother's name. Tandy. I'll just do Garrett Phillips' mother. Because she has a different last name. Tandy Cyrus, a very, very attractive woman who had dumped the sheriff's deputy for the hot new boyfriend. And then it was about a year after that. So I'll just read you this little blurb that I pulled up. So this was in 2011. 12-year-old Garrett Phillips was red-rummed in his home in Potsdam, a small town in upstate New York. Police quickly suspected oral Nick Hillary. Police meaning her ex-boyfriend, John Jones. Yeah, I think I got that right. Isn't that what I said? A Jamaican man in his mostly white community who was a soccer coach at Clarkston University. He was a soccer stud at the college before he then became the coach. And he was, I don't think he was from Jamaica. I want to say he was from like the Jamaican part of New York City, but very, very dark skin and definitely an accent. So maybe he was from Jamaica. But anyway, he'd been in the States for a very long time. Was a very successful soccer player, but he also had served in our military, and he had connections in the city to lawyers. So he knew how to play the game. He knew how to play the white man's game, basically, having been a soldier in our United States Army voluntarily. He knew how to conduct himself, and he almost went to prison, but because he had an attorney friend in New York City that came and saved him, like drove there as fast as they could. I think it was a 5-hour trip, and they jumped in their car immediately because they knew that he was screwed. Um, so this is an ABC News article, September 28th, 2016. And let me just add that the mother swears that the ex-boyfriend did it, that she suspects the ex-boyfriend. And her brother says that too. And it's my belief that her other ex-boyfriend, the one that she dumped for the the white guy, that she dumped for the black guy, that he's told her, you better point the finger at him, or look what I did to your one kid. I could do it to you. I could do it to your others. Because I think she was a single mother of 3, which also, you know, that just doesn't give you a good position in our misogynistic society. She was from that town. She was a very attractive young woman who I think was married and had 1 or 2 kids with her husband, and then 1 or 2 kids with someone else. So, those women get looked at like with a scarlet letter on them, sort of like KIELY. Let's get into that case in just a second. So 2 days before, former soccer coach Nick Hillary was found not guilty. He was found not guilty in the trial by about this much of a wiggle room. I mean, it was a close case. In the murder of 12-year-old Garrett Phillips in upstate New York, Garrett's mother and Hillary's ex-girlfriend, Tandy Cyrus, opened up to ABC News 2020 in an emotional interview about losing her son and coping during the aftermath. Cyrus never expected her final moments with her firstborn child would be in October 2011, as the 6th grader lay unresponsive in a hospital room in Potsdam, New York. I think it was by knife, right? She rushed to the hospital that evening thinking Garrett had fallen, not knowing how bad he was hurt or what had happened. She soon found her son in cardiac arrest. I was in complete shock, she said. Cyrus, taking a deep breath, then told 2020 he had bruises on his face, marks on his necks, and the medical team was doing CPR. Crying, Cyrus told ABC News it felt like it was somebody else's life. I felt like I was watching it happen to someone else. Oh, and then that nice ex-boyfriend of hers, John Jones, came swooping in and held her hand and saved the day. Yeah, he did. Seriously, do all that. He was getting back at her, and he thought he was going to get her back, in my humble opinion. The doctor was talking to me, and I just remember him looking down at me over the tops of his glasses, telling me that there was nothing else they could do, she said. He's 12 years old, healthy, athletic. They told me he fell, she said. And I get there, and they're telling me he's in cardiac arrest. But remember the person that I think that did it, okay? I'm not the only one that thinks that. And then they're telling me that he's gone. I had no idea what happened. And she said she stayed in the hospital room with Garrett that night. I don't even know how long I was in there until they came and told me I had to come out. She said, I told him I loved him. The grieving mother later learned that Garrett was strangled to death. Okay, I forgot that detail. Almost immediately, police focused on her ex-boyfriend Hillary as the prime suspect. Remember who the police are, okay? Remember who the police are. But it would take them several years before they arrested him for the murder, because he knew how to play the white man's game, and because he had a high rolling, expensive, well-educated attorney. So he was well-educated, and his attorney was well-educated. If not for that, he would have been up a creek without a paddle, and he almost was up a creek without a paddle anyway. I want to say he even had a master's degree, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But it would take them several years before they arrested him for the murder. After a 2-week trial, Hillary was found not guilty this morning by a judge. So this is in 2016 that this article came out. Cyrus and Hillary broke up shortly before Garrett's death, although they pretended to break up because they were being stalked and harassed by her previous ex-boyfriend, the one that she left for him for a solid year. So they pretended to break up. And she believes that Hillary blamed Garrett for the breakup. See, she believes. While Cyrus said she never saw Hillary hit a child, lose his temper with a child, or threaten a child during their nearly 1 year together, she told 2020 that she has no doubt that Hillary did it. For his part, Hillary has always maintained his innocence. And let me just say, it's very disrespectful on her part and law enforcement's part to maintain that their own system is faulty. Okay? Like that's disrespectful. Like people could say that about me, that it's disrespectful of me to say that they came up with the wrong verdict. Although in this case, they came up with the right verdict, in my opinion. But it should have never went to trial, in my opinion. Um, let's see. For his part, Hillary has always maintained his innocence, he told ABC News' Elizabeth Vargas, who I love, earlier this year. She's an alcoholic in recovery. She's very open about that. She's not even been in recovery for that long. She had a very successful career as a raging alcoholic, and she's honest about it. And I think that's amazing that she can share that with the public. Before the trial began, I have absolutely nothing to do with what has happened to Garrett. Why would I even want to hurt a child after having worked with kids for over 2 decades? It just blows my mind. Cyrus said, sitting through Hillary's trial this month has been very difficult. It's now 5 years of reliving and replaying everything over and over. She said days before the verdict that if Hillary was found not guilty, she would still believe that he did it to her son, and nothing could convince her otherwise. And I just told you what my belief is about that. Um, Cyrus appears to have commented publicly since the verdict. No, Cyrus appears not to have commented publicly since the verdict was delivered. That's big. I don't know that there is a severe enough punishment, she said. I hope he spends the rest of his life in prison, but he still gets to live. And yeah, he's not ever going to be tried for it again. Double indemnity. Crying, Cyrus said she would now tell Hillary, he took my son, he took a big brother, a grandson, a cousin, a nephew. Garrett was always happy and always willing to help other kids and other people. Never got to do his 6th grade graduation. 6th grade, you guys. He just came home after school before or after soccer practice, and he was in the house by himself, or it was an apartment. They had just moved in because Jessica and Nick Hillary had been cohabitating, and they had just pretended to break up, and they were living separately so that the constant harassment by the sheriff's deputy would maybe stop or ease up. And it obviously didn't, in my humble opinion. Okay. Never got to have his driver's license, no high school graduation, no girlfriend, no marriage. He took his whole life. Okay. So enough reading on my phone. How you guys? How you doing? Let me grab some water and then get to it. And raised from perdition 2 times. I got your email, thank you. And I know I always think Jessica Tandy too when I'm trying to remember her name. Tandy Cyrus. And thank you for your email. I responded and I want that link. So Mark was able to drop the link in chat yesterday, but it takes like 24 hours before you can see the chat. So I'll be able to get that link out of the chat now that it's been about 24 hours. And then I'll put it in maybe yesterday and today's descriptions so that other people that want to see your short can. I'm excited for you. I don't even care how good it is or isn't. It's just great that you broke the ice. Good for you. Keep doing it. That is fantastic. Jamaica, Queens, New York. Yeah, I think so. But I think that he was from Jamaica too, because he had a pretty thick accent. I remember that Tandy case. I thought NG, but parking there, moving his car seemed stalkery. Yeah, watch the documentary. Like I said, they were fake broken up, so why would he be stalking anybody? They were still seeing each other. And see, that's what her other ex-boyfriend that she left for him didn't know. he thought it was a real breakup. So he thought it would be easy to pin it on him, making him look like a scorned lover. So when he found out that they weren't really broken up, you could see him just about piss his pants. Seriously, you see it in the footage. It's kind of like the Watts case, that they have a lot of real surveillance footage of everything. So that makes it extremely interesting. Check it out. I highly recommend it. 7 years, you said. I'm not sure which thing we're talking about, Claudia, if you want to remind me. True, keep going. Raised from Perdition says, thank you so much, Jazz. It's just a humorous short. Well, that's awesome. I love humor. There it is again. Mark did it. And yes, we are happy to support new content creators. I personally, honestly, don't feel threatened by any great content creator. Again, as an artist, I learned early in my life to be able to appreciate other creative people, that we are all here to support each other, that, the more artwork that there is, the more content that there is, the more that there's a market for it. So it's not about cutthroat competition. It's about supporting each other. And yeah, there's going to be, competition. That's just a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's wonderful to express yourself, and it's wonderful to mentor other people expressing themselves. So you go, girl. What's the name again? I forgot already. That's how I am. Garrett Phillips. Who unalived, K-word, Garrett Phillips is the name of the documentary that I believe it was HBO that made it. It might have been a Hulu special, but now it's on Amazon Prime, was what I saw when I pulled it up. Thanks, Mark, for dropping the link. All right, so I'm going to drink. Then we're going to get into that other garbage. The dumpster fire. So I thought I invented that Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent dumpster fires. Do you guys remember that when I said it yesterday during the live? And I thought, man, am I clever? And I said, Shan, make a shirt. And then a minute later, I was like, wait, did I make that up or did someone else? And then I texted with her and I was like, I think you said that to me a few weeks ago, right? And sure enough, she had. It's just that, the brain becomes a jello mold that doesn't retain everything, right? So in the moment, I did make it up, honestly, but I'd heard it from her. So I can't say that I made it up in the moment, because it's kind of like I remembered it in my unconscious. But that's what I mean when I say that people aren't necessarily ripping each other off, that they might be without knowing it, and that people might be coming up with the same idea. And when I was texting with Shan, that's pretty much exactly what she said is, oh, I'm sure other people came up with it way before us. So don't worry, I don't own it. And I just thought, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why none of us need to get that bent out of shape. But it is nice when you got something from someone specific, give them a shout out, please. Like anybody, whether they're a big channel or a small channel, it's just the right thing to do. So thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Okay. Yes, you said it took 7 years to find the guy guilty of unaliving that kid. Okay. Well, wait, no, because he was unalived in 2011, and then I think it was 5 years. I think that the verdict came in 2016, from what I just read, if I'm remembering it right. So yeah, 7 years might have been something else. I'm not sure. Again, it's all a blur. Trying to keep up with myself is impossible, you guys. You see what I mean? I mean, here we are almost an hour into it, and I still haven't even gotten to the main thing. So sorry, not sorry. That was important stuff to touch on. So thanks for sticking with me. Thank you guys for being here. And we'll get to it. I'm just going to read a little bit and then get into my 4 pages of notes, give or take a page. It's a lot, but it's going to be good, I think. Now I jinxed it. So let's see. Where is the cam photo ring video on these cases? Did the truckee peeps buy Polaroid cameras? Jägermeister. Oh, Mark, you and your good questions. Dang it. How are they supposed to get away with it when you're here? Come on. Back off. Oh, I would love to see the dumpster fire. That one that we're talking about. I would love to see her go after you, Mark. Is that okay if I say that? Do you mind? I mean, I would think that you would love the attention, even though it's negative attention, because you've invited those trolls over, right? You like serve them tea and crumpets and stuff. Only you can prevent injustice. That's a good one. That's another t-shirt for Shan if she wants any other ideas. Or even a hat. Thank you so very much, Jazz. You are always so kind. Oh, you make me want to cry, tears of joy. Jazz, you are such a drinker, LOL of water. You thought you were going to call me a drunk mom first, always. Yes, I still have my coffee too, so I can be a bad example. It's 10 minutes after the cutoff time, but I still have a lot of coffee left and I kind of need it, but I'll go back and forth. I'll be a good role model and I'll be a human role model that doesn't always do everything perfect. And I don't always practice what I preach, but I do try, and that's what matters. I've always wondered about that too. And Anna Bean says to Mark, okay, thank you. So Truckee has parties where no young adults take phone photos or videos. Yeah, those teens, they hate taking photos at parties. Most teens take photos at parties, but that's just not a Truckee teen thing. That's what I think Megan said a while back. I'm pretty sure she said that in one of her many crazy stories. The only party in history ever with no photos or videos. See, you guys, this is why I love Mark Molina. I got to read that again. So Truckee has parties where no young adults take phone photos or videos. The only party in history ever with no photos or videos. Unless, the dumpster fire troll got some with her $100,000 reward money psych, right? Bring it, Mark says. I love it. Crusty old man is tough. So funny. Well, yeah, I mean, what you said you worked for Google and YouTube. I mean, you got to be tough to work for a big corporation. I know. I've worked for big corporations, not like that big, but I mean, I guess you could say, working for King County, actually, that corporation might even be bigger than those. I don't know. And I had 2 positions with King County. That's where I did the crisis and commitment work, and then that's where I was a supervisor in the family court. So FedEx man cometh, Kenny. Hello. All right, so let's get into the notes about this matter. Okay, we are only at 1 hour, and I think we have at least another hour. So I got to guzzle. And I will try so hard not to slurp, because that's the worst when you're reviewing your own video and you see and hear yourself slurp, or you have like poppy seeds stuck in your teeth. Over a year ago, I had like a black bean skin on one of my teeth the whole freaking video. And I had brushed my teeth before I did my video. And I didn't look in the mirror. Or I think it was like hiding under my lip. So you could only see it like when I smiled. And I mean, I didn't take down the video, but you'd have to like watch really closely. And I don't think you'd ever find it. But, if you do, I'll give you $100,000. Actually, no, somebody just called me and said, if you can find that video, they would gladly pay you $100,000. Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I just got the text right here on my phone. Let me show you the phone number that I got the text from, okay? All right, so here we go. This is where I started some of the notes in this notebook this morning. I had 2 notebooks going because, I was doing my work and I'm like, where's my notebook? So I was listening to it on double speed. I think I had 3 notebooks going, to be honest, but I only have 2 of them here. One of them is in the ether, but I got more than enough to share. All right, prosecutorial misconduct is my new thing. I will try to maybe incorporate that into the title. So this was where the quote unquote interview with the dumpster fire troll and her real fake friend, the one who said, I'm very real. How many times did she say that? She said it at the beginning, the middle, and the end. I am very real. Yeah, I know. I always say that too. I'm very real, you guys. Me, very real content creator. Don't forget it. If you ever doubt that, just remember me real. Okay? Me real. I'll say it a bunch more just in case you forget. Raised from perdition. You're so sweet. You are on point. Are you saying that I'm like that other one that starts with a J that's on point? I think the L woman is a person in dumpster fire chat called Diamond Cutter, known on Facebook as Verna Coy. Also the same handle, Diamond Cutter. Listen to her videos it's the same voice. Well, Kenny, you are always so freaking sharp. I wouldn't doubt it for a second. Thank you kindly for sharing that. You guys write that down or screenshot that. I mean, I really feel like it's important that we get to the bottom of this crap. I feel like it's really important. If this is the fraud crap that it looks like, it needs to be stopped, and that maybe she can get charges held against her. She might even be able to be arrested, some of the stuff she's pulled. And yeah, if she can be arrested, I'm sure Mrs. G will see to it that she is. We love you, Mrs. G. Okay. Then we love you, Kenny and Mark and FedEx Man, that's Kenny. And Raised from Perdition 2 times. All right. So, and Bex, I said hi to you way earlier. Yeah. Oh, you're talking to CB. I'm offering $1 billion and an island for proof in Park Place in Monopoly. Oh man, I want it. What I got the proof. Tell me what proof you want, and I will. I'll fax it right over because I want the $1 billion. I want the island, and I definitely want Park Place. Let's see. And Perdition is in. I'm not real. I am pure fake AI robot chicken. No, you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna like pee my pants laughing. This is too much fun. Okay. Nice to know you aren't fake. Just was a perfect mockery of her reward announcement. Oh, thank you. I'll pat myself on the back. I'm so good. Oh, you're nice. I'm so glad you guys are real people. Wow, Kenny, that lady just showed up in her chat a few days ago. Yeah, a lot of those people that just showed up in her chat the night before last, and then they showed up in my chat yesterday, and I was like, yeah, nice to see you. Not the analyst. Hello, chicken robot. Raised from Perdition. It's her 100%. I know her voice sounded younger. Kenny is always on it. I've never, in my knowledge of the things that Kenny has shared on YouTube from way over there across the pond, somehow he knows stuff in our lands way better than we do. So, he's got a very clear perspective from that far away. Seriously. So the first horrible thing she said, and let's just call her L, right? I was calling her X yesterday. We'll just call her L since that's what she claims she is. She said this is a direct quote, verbatim. I don't have any interest in hanging out with kids. Okay, you just sounded super creepy. And then a minute later, she says, basically, when I was Kylie's age, I had older women that I went to. I had older women that I went to. That almost sounds really creepy. And then she adds that she never told her mom. I never told my mom about the older women that I went to. I think she's prearranging it. So if Lindsay ever comes out and says this woman is talking smack, she can be like, well, see, I never told my mom either. And Ms. Kylie just didn't tell her mom because we don't tell our moms about these older women that we hang out with. I'm 56 and I have some friends that are a lot older than me. And when I was 28, I had a handful of friends that I worked with that were twice my age, that were 56. But for the most part, yeah, teenagers, not so much hanging out with older women friends. I don't think so, but well, yeah, anything's possible. And then Ms. Dumpster Fire, a troll jumps in to, the quote unquote interview where she never asked a single freaking question. God, do you guys see how the sun blaring through all of my blackout curtains is just like whiting me out? It makes me want to turn out some of my lights because I'm blinding. I'm like Kylie. I'm blinding because I'm so bright, Is that okay? Is that better? I like it better, even though it's harder for me to read. Let's see. So the dumpster fire, a troll jumps in with, she sounds like an old soul. And so she's not like asking any questions the way you do when you interview someone. She's just like prodding her along. And then the L uses that word vivacious. Kylie was vivacious. Okay, that's a nice way to describe anybody, right? I mean, that's a compliment, being vivacious. That's like being full of life. But then she gets really creepy and she adds, not in the sexual term. Huh? I've never even heard of it in a sexual term. Vivacious? We need to look that word up. Where's Ryan Upchurch? Get his dictionary over here. Okay, and then she's talking about her dear teenage friend, her secret friend, blowing up her phone lines. So she says a whole bunch of times that Ms. Kylie would blow up her phone and that it would annoy her. And oh, well, it didn't annoy her, but it annoyed her. But she says blowing up our phone lines, which is not a phrase. You don't blow up somebody's phone line. That's how kids talk about, they were blowing up my phone. But this supposedly is an older, more mature woman. And she used the phrase a bunch of times that Kylie would blow up her phone, but then she said, the blow up our phone lines. And I'm like, okay, yeah, right, whatever. Yeah, you're real. You're very, very real. And then she says, I'm not going to try to speak her language, but trigger warning, right? She says that trigger warning. Then she throws this phrase out there, bitch ass mom. Okay. So she's not going to speak her language, but then that was her language allegedly. But she uses that trigger warning for saying bitch ass mom. Like, that's not where you use trigger warning. You use trigger warning when you're talking about something really heinous, right? Like physical description of an autopsy, for instance. That's a trigger warning. Okay. Not when you're using the B word. Oh, trigger warning. I'm going to use the biatch word. Okay. Trigger warning. All right. So I noticed that a lot of her lingo was the same as Scammy's terminology. When she was talking about how much Kylie loved nature, I was expecting her to say, oh, she loved the water. But no, she, she soaked up information like a sponge, which Shan pointed out how that was, I think Shan and Billy Darling pointed out how that was a phrase that maybe Lindsay used in an article written about it or something. And that she was so talented musically, and we already know that, right? I mean, she says, whatever happened to my baby happened. And yet she's also trying to claim that nothing happened to her baby, right? Isn't she? Doesn't she like talk out of both sides of her mouth? I know that the dumpster fire that was interviewing her talks out of both sides of her mouth. So yeah, they're denying that anything happened. And oh, this is where she was talking like Scammy. She's like, she's so loyal. She's so loyal. And she's always learning. And then she says to the dumpster fire host that I will be coming back to share more. Oh, goody, goody gumdrops. That gives us so much to look forward to. She'll be coming back to share more, meaning maybe that the dumpster fire, a troll, is running out of material. So this is her new gig. So she's talking about what a great musician Ms. KIELY was. Everyone knows this, and I don't want to swear. She was dang good at it, a savant. So because she didn't want to swear, she said dang good, but she didn't give us the trigger warning before she said dang. So she loses points for that, right? And then she says a savant, which was also in the article. I know I've used that term with her more than once. I'm going to guess that Elle probably had never heard that term and didn't know what it was, but she heard everyone else using it. Anyway, that's just a little commentary there. So I have a question about what the A troll is doing when she's got the photographs, the shaken paper syndrome, as Shan calls it. I love that. It's so funny. And she's got it in front of her face, and then she's peeking under there. You can't see my eyes there. Um, and I'm kind of thinking when she has it in front of her face that she's maybe talking to the person in the room, telling them, do this, do that, do the other thing. I don't know. Maybe she's snorting something. Who the heck knows? Yeah, I said it, allegedly. And I wouldn't say that, Mrs. Jez, but thank you. Oh, Kenny, you're so bashful. You are super sharp. That's how I first noticed you. You were on a Zav Girl panel. And I wish I could remember the panel and what it was that you were sharing, but it was something that I never heard anywhere. And I was like, who is this guy? It was late at night. I remember you were sitting on your couch. The wall was behind you. And I think it was just you and Zav. There might have been like one other person on the panel. And you had some brilliant freaking idea. And I've been paying attention to you ever since. I haven't heard that channel, Kenny, but I swear I heard Elle's voice before. Oh, yeah. The voice sounded familiar to me, too. And I've never heard of the channel. Go to Facebook and check out her page. It's connected to a refurb business called Diamond Cutter. What a coincidence, eh? That's funny. I know these people think they're so freaking sneaky. And it's just so dangerous to try to pull crap on social media because you're giving everybody the opportunity to look at you from every side and angle, and they'll find things even if things aren't there. So, just buyer beware. Like it's not a good idea to mess around with social media. But, I can only live my own life. I got to stay in my lane. Everyone's free to do whatever they want. Go for it. Create the dumpster fire that you've always dreamed of. Oh my goodness. CB says, I'll have to research it, Kenny. Apparently, I have 4 friends in common with her. Ooh. See, this is why I'm so glad I'm not on Facebook because you can just fall down those rabbit holes, right? Nose candy analyst. That's a funny one. And FedEx man Kenny dropped the link for it, I think. Awesome. Dumpster girl snorting. Oh, that's funny. You should see all the ones in common with Scammy. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So I think I stopped at that point about how she'll be coming back to share more. And let's see. Then this is the one question that the dumpster fire asks of her guests. And it's like way into the 50-minute interview, probably like half an hour or so. What happened at your house last night? And the L answers, oh. And then she says, there were 2 warning shots fired outside of my bedroom window. Okay. So what, they were warning shots before someone got shot? What do you mean warning shots? Did they say these are warning shots before they shot them or after they shot them? Anyway, then she says people were like banging on her door and kicking her house and tearing pieces of the outside paneling off. But she didn't see any of that till the next day. She says she called the police that night, but I'm pretty sure that she would have seen the paneling being torn off that night if she called the police because they would have been looking around with her. So, when Army for Jesus was the one who answered the chat and said, oh, yeah, she called the police. She definitely called the police. You called the police, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, I definitely didn't forget to call the police. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we believe you. And then was it Elle who said to the dumpster fire a troll that it was her opinion that the content creators who are criticizing her are jealous of her because we're afraid that she's going to figure out the case before us. Yeah, that's my biggest fear. Definitely. So yeah, the self-importance is crazy, 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 crazy. And then Elle says this: when I started digging online by myself, she's talking about trying to find answers for what happened to her baby, even though nothing happened, right? She says, what does she say? She just, right after she says that, when I started digging online by myself, don't get me wrong, KIELY was no pushover because she was always outdoors. I think that's the whole sentence verbatim, you guys. I wrote it down and it was confusing and I highlighted it because I'm like, what the hell? It's like she's just trying to put some buzzwords together. Like, she meant to say the outdoors. She meant to say not a pushover. I don't know. So she says, don't get me wrong, KIELY was no pushover because she was always outdoors. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Not. And then she's talking about a mean streak. I think she's talking about Scammy with the mean streak and that she's spicy and that she was maybe jelly and that maybe she wanted to cut KIELY's hair. No, maybe KIELY wanted to cut off her own hair so that nobody would be jealous of her. I don't know. I was really creeped out by the whole comment of the cutting of the hair because, that's like the Samson and Delilah thing. Wait a second. Let me it's a Grateful Dead song. People have power in their hair. And was Samson's true weakness his hair or Delilah? Samson confessed that he would lose his strength if I had my head shaved. So this is biblical, right? While he slept, the faithless Delilah cut his hair. And then that Grateful Dead song is fantastic. I'll put a link to it in the description. Samson said, Delilah, you can cut my hair. You can shave my head. Anyway, I got really creeped out about the cutting of the hair statement. Like that, because in Elle's fake interview, she was saying that it was KIELY's idea that she shared with her older female secret friend that doesn't want to hang out with kids, that she wanted to cut her own hair so that people like Scammy wouldn't be jealous of her because, she didn't want anyone to feel bad, right? Because she's so nice. I mean, I would believe that KIELY would be that kind of person, but I don't think she'd be like, yeah, I'll cut my hair off. Man, she had gorgeous hair. You have to work hard for that kind of hair. Nobody has hair that thick, that long. Hardly at all. I mean, I had blonde hair at that age that was long, but it was nowhere near that thick and nowhere near that long. It's hard to grow it that long. You have to have the right genes, first of all, which I didn't. But then you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of shampoo and a lot of conditioner and a lot of hairbrushes and a lot of time. I mean, it's a lot of work, right? Let's see. Let's not miss some of these. Okay, so that's a video on the page. I'm going to highlight that real quick that Kenny put up. So you guys can copy that link if you want. I went on her live earlier in comments and AJ totally ignored me asking if Elle was Verna. Oh, I'm surprised she didn't just lash out at you the way she lashed out at Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the Honey Badger, when she came into the live that we're discussing, the 50-minute one from the night before last. I haven't had a chance to see her most recent dumpster fire that she did after that. Scamster fire, that's a good word, analyst. I like that. Yeah. Blonde Gypsy says, I had a thought for your dumpster fire t-shirt. It needs Park Ranger Shan on it. I know. Well, Park Ranger Shan is a dirty rat bastard because she's out there stealing all the kids with her national park connections. I mean, she's probably Scammy's older sister, come to think of it, or her aunt, or maybe just her secret older female friend, right? Yeah, that's it. No, I don't know. No, and I don't know, slutty scam. Oh man. Oh goodness. When they started calling her a tramp, saying, well, she's not really a tramp, but she might have felt like a tramp. But no, she wasn't a tramp. I'm not calling her a tramp. Nope, not calling her a tramp at all. I would never call her a tramp. It's like, would you just shut the F up? You're calling her a tramp. You freaks, you sick freaks. Like, quit talking about a 16-year-old's sexually active lifestyle. Like most 16-year-olds are activated, and let them do that in the privacy of their own life, because teenagers deserve privacy in their own life. In my opinion, when a kid is 16, they deserve to have full privacy about that stuff. And I have kids that are that age, 3 of them now. Well, the one is that age right now. The other one's 19. The other one's 21. It was hard. It was hard for me to let go. But yeah, I mean, I remembered when I was 16, and it's like, damn straight, you better let your kids have some freaking privacy to do whatever the heck they want to do. Not that my kids would ever do anything bad. No premarital sex ever, I'm sure. None of that. I raised them all in church. They would never do that. I mean, part of what I just said is true, right? And I'll just let you figure out what part. I mean, you got to be realistic. Come on. I have a weird take on her. She was probably obsessed with the Watts case, like single white female, and started selling Thrive like Shannon. Oh, Anna Bean. Now she's doing it with Kylie's case. That fits, if the glove fits, right? Dumpster fire girls, foot nose candy. Oh. Did you notice that when AJ held up a paper on her call with Elle had to quickly say that she wished she was watching her YouTube, LOL, after she acknowledged what she showed? It was funny. I did not notice that. FedEx man, I don't want to watch it again, but I will, because it's fun. It is actually fun at this point. I mean, at first this was just like torture for me, but I was like, it's got to be done. But yeah. Where is the sincerity from anyone? Rings false from top to bottom. Yeah, the entire 50 minutes, there was nothing shared that was like a true, authentic story. And it's not just detectives that can tell when you're lying because you don't go into great detail. It's anyone. Like, if you ask someone, well, so how was that test you just took? And they say, oh, it was great, thanks. It wasn't great. I mean, if they say, oh, it was great, I was afraid it was going to be rough, but then I got started and it wasn't. That sounds a little more realistic, doesn't it? I mean, like I said, anything's possible, but these are some of the yellow flags or red flags that people get taught in detective school, and you too can learn them by paying attention. And it's also kind of common sense. So when people just paint things with a really broad brush and go into zero detail, they are bullshitting you. Probably everybody in my chat already knows that. You don't need me to tell you, right? You guys are all on it. Let's see. Stay tuned. Cliffhanger BS. More clicks. I know. I'm coming back. She's coming back. Hey, Jazz, I'm on a roll, 2 lives in a row. Yay, Sandra. Woohoo. Still good, but need a job before I get older. And that's so stressful, I mean,
I hope that it's not too stressful for you and that you're able to fill your time with your channel and your hobby of finding justice for KIELY. But man, you might crank it up and take some tips from the dumpster fire and, go on a fake roll, right? Try to get all the clicks you can and get your buy me a coffee thing up there. She was breathing too much printer ink. Mark, you guys, you see what I'm talking about? This guy is crafty. Well, and see, yesterday or the night before in Shan's live, I was like, is printer ink code for something else that sometimes I call a rug with the letter D? Yeah, why, Delilah? Huffing the empty printer cartridges. CB, you guys, this imposter never met KIELY in her life. That's a really good word. Like, here we are laughing about it, and it's honestly really not funny. Like, they're really messing up this whole platform. So that's my purpose of discussing it. Is I truly believe, whether intentional or not, that we are all at risk of them trashing the platform so badly that it does damage to our democratic process, because I feel like YouTube can help keep our democracy more honest. How many public records requests are shared on YouTube legally? When you get a records request granted, they'll tell you specifically if you're not allowed to share it with people. Mostly you are allowed to share it with people. And the way most people will do that is by writing an article or making a video and then just putting it in the links. But a lot of our content creators put the video or the document right on the screen. And that's freaking phenomenal for transparency and for democracy. There's a lot of content creators that do that, and that is a brilliant thing. Showing the receipts. Got to show your receipts. And I don't know how to do that. I mean, I've shown some documents the way that the dumpster fire shows documents. I've never pulled one up on my screen while talking to you guys. I've shown documents on my community tab because I don't know the technology, and I don't feel like I need to learn the technology because enough channels do that I'm doing my own thing over here. But I try never to speak on things that I don't have the receipts for, because it's terrible to misspeak. Of course, I've done it. I've misspoken, and I'm just like, damn it. No, I try to clean it up. I try to edit. I try to address it. I try to do everything I can. I try not to make those mistakes. So if I'm not sure about something, I will say, I'm not sure about this. And then that kind of frees me up, that if I was mistaken, well, I said I wasn't sure, right? I mean, it's important to be precise, and we're not always going to have 100% precision, but we need to shoot for 100% precision, because when you're not precise, it damages your own credibility. And if you're doing it often, it's going to damage your channel's credibility. It's going to damage YouTube platform credibility, in my humble opinion. Ink poster. Oh, like an ink poster. See, and I was thinking like a poser. I love that, analyst. Thank you. Let's see. Why? The imposter never met KIELY. Me longer than KIELY's. Mom first, always your hair longer than KIELY's. But yeah, girls get really jealous of other blondes. Blondes get really jealous of other blondes, especially if their hair is blonder or longer or all that crap. I was a blonde teenager, and I dealt with that a lot. I didn't feel so threatened by other blondes because I actually thought that brunettes were just as attractive. I mean, come on. Look at Demi Moore. She doesn't need to be blonde, right? I mean, once upon a time. Anyway, the Kardashians, if you think they're attractive. I used to have long, thick hair, but now it's so thin because of my autoimmune disease. Yeah, and as we get older, there's vitamins that we can take, and there's treatments, laser treatments, I think, different things. But probably most of that is just going to make money for the corporations and leave us unchanged. So she never even acknowledged me and then ended her live very quickly. Oh, too funny, Kenny. That's fantastic. Keep going on them. So hopefully she'll keep ending them quickly before she just, does so much damage. But at the same time, it's like, let them torpedo themselves. Let them keep shooting themselves in the foot, right? Just let them keep talking, because they will continue to dig that ditch deeper and deeper. They will continue to out themselves. They will continue to tell on themselves. Honestly, I think that the dumpster fire did not allow Elle to tell a KIELY story because she was afraid that it was going to tell on themselves. And so it was like towards the end, and she said, "Oh, I have a KIELY story I want to share." And dumpster fire, a troll, was basically like, "Nope, we're done. Okay, bye. Talk to you later, babe." And she kept calling her babe. Okay, Ryan Upchurch uploaded another great video just since this morning, because I put a great one of his links in yesterday's. He's on a roll. I be liking it. Oh, be careful, it will become a narrative. People don't do warning shots. That's only in the movies. People don't want attention with guns in their hands. Good point, Mr. Mark. Yeah, and usually the warning shots are like the shots fired like in the sky, ding ding, and then they shoot you right there. They don't like warn you one day and then shoot you another day. I don't think. I don't know. I've never done a warning shot myself, allegedly. I will deny it categorically. Never done a warning shot. Never had a warning shot. Dang, I feel so left out. Scammy, the Bear PNY, you can send your friends into the lake without people knowing and get away with it. Oh, Scammy the Bear. Ew. So sick. Yeah. Wow, we are at 90 minutes. Scammy, the only you, I get it, the analyst, I love it. Only you can send your friends into the lake without people knowing and get away with it. That is a good one. I think a t-shirt, maybe. Yeah. Yes, shirts, park ranger Shan, putting out dumpster fires one nut at a time. That's great. Putting out dumpster fires with nuts. Oh, that's hilarious. Is there such a thing as living off grid in a cul-de-sac full of eyes? Yeah, they don't know what living off the grid means, because it was like out of the same breath, like, again, speaking out of both sides of the mouth. Nobody can be blowing up your phone line when you live off grid, because you don't have a phone line when you live off grid. I mean, they don't know what that means. They might have think that meant something like, a cul-de-sac outside of town, like that's off grid. I have no idea, but these people don't know what they're talking about. They just don't. Must be a lot of people living there off grid beside her. Well, come on, Kenny. In Lahaina, I think there was a whole community of people living off grid that all got burned, and there were thousands of people living in the woods, living in what they called the country outside of Lahaina. I think they called it Maui country, something like that. Maybe Lahaina country. I think it was Maui country. Anyway, thousands of people, like probably roughly 3,000. And I don't know many of them are accounted for. Like those were probably the people that they were trying to get rid of. It's so sad. It's so sad. There's a lot of good material coming out from Hawaii real estate. Thank goodness. And I wish that Hustle Biatch would get back on it. And Jeff Cyrus, he's put out some good stuff. I hope he sticks with it. And Brush Junkie, I know she'll stick with it. She's awesome. And thank goodness Hawaii real estate is back to it, because he got scared off for a little bit. But yeah, you can't allow that. In my opinion, you can't allow that. So I'm really happy that he's still on it. And I want to still stay on it, even though I have nothing to do with Maui. I think it has a lot to do with all of us, whether we ever want a vacation there or not. I mean, it's And even if it wasn't part of the United States of America, I mean, Kenny cares, and he's not in the States, right? Right, Kenny? You're a plant over there. You're an expatriate over there in, what is it, Scotland? I don't mean to dox you, but you know, one of those countries starts with an S, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me stay caught up. Okay. It's a really good comment. Crap, I have no power. Mark, you guys, do you see why this guy cracks me up? Man, it's a competition between Mark and his brother from another mother. You guys are both so freaking crafty and clever. I could just cry, like laugh so hard. Do you see my eyes? Totally tearing up. Crap, I have no power. Oh, and my generator's not working either. These comments are so F odd. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure the joke there, but I'm sure it's really funny. I'm just so caught up on the other one, I can barely see straight. The analyst has all the squirrels. FedEx he's getting in there to compete to be the funniest. Mark, I'm hoping mine doesn't go off here when the snow hits. The power poles here are older than Meg's yarns. Oh my goodness, you guys, you're killing me. Let's see, how far back am I? I'm going to power read. How do you know someone mind enough to know how someone feels about hair beliefs? Well, yeah, I mean, again, when you're their older friend and they're an old soul and, you know, you're psychically connected at the hip because they keep you as their secret friend that they don't tell their parents about, you know everything. And they are blowing up your phone line all the time with stupid stuff that you hate them for, but you don't hate them at all because, you know, they're not a tramp. God, it's so awful. And it is funny, but yeah, it's not funny. Anyway, the analyst putting out dumpster fires one squirrel at a time with a squirrel raising a leg and squirrels lined up for a turn just seem a crude, maybe just me. Yeah, I like it. I'm sure Shan can figure out something with it. Bravo, Kenny, today. Yeah, we'll have to check that out before she takes it down. Screen record it, right? Download it. Let's see. Even if people did know something about Ms. KIELY for real, people would crucify them, not you, of course. Yeah, I mean, why would you, out of love and respect, why would you want to come and brag about how you knew her on somebody's YouTube channel? That's like twisted and stupid. Like nobody's going to do that about their loved one. Again, people would keep it on the down low. They'd go to actual real authorities. They'd maybe try to hire a private investigator. They wouldn't just like go sleuthing online by themselves and then contact the dumpster fire, you know, a troll. Okay. Were you there listening in on her live? Maybe got attacked in there last time I commented. Oh, how funny. Yes, not going to waste ammo. It's expensive. Upchurch Maui fires this morning released. Oh, are you serious, Sandra? Thank you for the good news. I'm going to wrap it up here so I can go watch that right now. Oh, I'm so happy he's on it. I do hope that he goes over to the A for dumpster fire, a troll, but I don't think he will because of his outstanding lawsuit against him with the Kylie Rodney family. He's probably really not allowed to. But wouldn't it be cool if he did? Because yeah, he wouldn't have to mention our dear Ms. KIELY at all. Not at all. Oh my goodness. Wow. It's like the Lord of the Flies in their lives. They hate being corrected. So, you know, I wanted to talk about the Lord of the Flies. Let's see, how far am I from that part of my notes? I still have about a page in that book. I haven't even gotten to the second book, but the second book, I don't think I have that much. Let me see. Oh, the almost T-boned part, you guys. She almost got T-boned by a CRV. What does almost getting T-boned mean? I mean, I've been T-boned, like for real. That happened in Seattle. And it was almost really bad. I mean, they crashed into my door and I was the one driving. It could have been a lot worse because they were able to stop before the grill of their truck landed in my freaking lap, and I didn't lose my legs or my life or anything. But almost getting T-boned, that's not really a thing, because to get T-boned is like the middle of your car is hit. I guess if the car is coming towards the middle of your car and stops short, but then if it stops short, then you didn't almost get T-boned. Like you could have gotten T-boned, but you didn't. I don't know. I think it's crap. But by a CRV, what is KIELY like hunting her down now? Is that what she's trying to say? KIELY got mad at her older female friend that doesn't like to hang out with kids. Okay, sure. So they were pounding on her door, and let's see. That shaken paper syndrome. Don't you love that? That's Shan's cute little phrase, shaken paper syndrome. Definitely not a plant. I wanted to say that. I think those are my words. I'm definitely not a plant, you guys, and I'm sure that the L person and the troll, I'm sure that they forgot to say that, but they're definitely not plants. Just I want to clarify. Okay. So you got that. And Mark, I know you're not a plant, and Kenny, not a plant. You guys are not plants, right? Am I right? Make sure you're not a plant. Okay. So this is the part, the savagery. So you guys are talking about the Silence of the Lambs party? No, the Lord of the Flies party. What do they mean? Because that implies savagery. And then you couple that with Sam Brown's statement of, if anybody saw anything grotesque at the party, like that's an exact quote. If anybody saw anything grotesque at the party, we have counselors for you, which I don't think they just wanted to help people with their trauma. I think they wanted to flag the people that they needed to, keep a watch on. Oh my goodness. And what about the Cards Against Humanity? Remember, there were Cards Against Humanity involved in this story. Like, WTF is up with that? Hello. All right. I don't think I need to look at that notebook. I think I can just look at this one. I want to get caught back up with you guys. We're just an hour and 42 minutes. I'm falling behind. I apologize. I'm going to try to speed read. And Plaster, are you listening? That's a good comment there. I'm sure they are. I mean, not that I'm so self-important. They might not be listening to this, but they're listening to Squirrel Squad types of stuff in general, right? No brown straight hair, and I didn't know anyone jealous of it. I wasn't the only one in school with hair halfway down their thighs. Oh, wow. Halfway down your thighs. That's phenomenal. That is so much work. Yeah, mine never even got like past the middle of my back. I don't think it couldn't. It would break off, unfortunately, or fortunately. Anyway, can't remember if I said hi, hello. Maybe the warning shots was only a starting pistol in the race for the reward money. I'm not in Scotland. Very close though. I'm in Northumberland County, Durham. Well, don't tell anyone. They're going to come and do their warning shots over there, dude. Now you have to move. Who is a redhead with a green eyes asking for a friend? LOL. Yeah, that would be Trinity Bacchus, right? I don't know what you're referring to. I already recorded it. If anyone needs it, that's if it gets taken down. Oh, good job. You should change, enhance it, and put it on your channel, Kenny. Ooh, there's a good idea. If Elle was real, she would have told off the dumpster fire for messing up KIELY's case. Yeah. And what is the point of her coming out? Just to share her lovely stories that have no substance? that the dumpster fire a troll won't let her share anyway because it might out them further. Fully intend to. Oh, good, Kenny. Awesome. We can look forward to his next production. Kenny's great. And Ms. W, I almost died in the plane crash, but I canceled the flight. Laughed my ass off. Kenny. Seriously, but no, if you were scheduled on a flight that then crashed and everybody died, yeah, I would say that. Like, yeah, I almost died in the plane crash, but luckily I wasn't on the plane. That's cute. Is my Cox internet off grid? Untraceable. You guys, it is a competition, isn't it? Cutthroat. Nobody else in America drives a CRV except, yeah. Yes. Too funny. Yeah, I don't have a CRV. Actually, we did have one, but we gave it to one of our kids. So, I'm not a plant or fruit or veggie. Awful brown. Kenny is in undisclosed location for protection. Yes, because he is so self-important. Yes. Yes. Analyst is me no plant, or is that me no strawberry? I'm not sure. Can AJ get reported to YouTube just on the fact she put young adult pictures on her channel? Absolutely, Mom. Like, yeah, we can all report her for whatever we think she's doing that's inappropriate, which, yeah, I would recommend if you feel that way about any channel, do it, self-included. If you feel like people are being disrespectful towards the platform that you want to have the integrity of respected, then yeah, report them so that they can at least get schooled on how to shore it up, if not get shut down if they don't stop, won't stop, can't stop. And yeah, a lot of behavior like that is very compulsive and people can't stop themselves. They can't control themselves. They have poor impulse control and they just have to do this stuff because they have to. you know how it is, right? Let's see, an undisclosed location in Wollaston, Durham. Oh, that's cute. Kenny, don't doze yourself. I think she meant dox, but I like it doze. That's cute. Just say somewhere in England. I know he's trying to be funny. He's trying to pretend to be doxing himself. Mom first, always. I don't care who knows where I live. I will welcome anyone with open arms. I have nothing to hide. Let them make the long trip here. It won't cost me anything. Well, and then you can feed them crumpets and tea, right? Ryan did a great video today. That is so exciting. He is excellent. He did so much for KIELY, even if he never touches anything remotely KIELY for the rest of his life. He's already done so much for KIELY. In the last couple of days, I feel like he's done a lot for trafficking. And man, if he's on the MAUI case, that gives a lot of hope for that, in my opinion. Put on the kettle, Kenny. Okay, so let me finish with my notes here about, oh, this is a really good quote of Elle's that she says to the dumpster fire, a troll. Thank you for correcting me because I care. No, thank you for correcting me because I was about to start crying again. Okay. Thank you for correcting me because I was about to start crying again. It's kind of an incongruent sentence, but also I don't think she had already cried. So how can she be crying again unless she's talking about before she came on to the live? The things they said to each other were like that. They just didn't make sense. Thank you for correcting me because I was about to start crying again. Okay. And this is a big one, you guys. Elle says she's knew KIELY or that she's known KIELY for 12 years because is she saying that KIELY's still breathing, right? So that would make her having just turned 18 this past fall. So if she's known her for 12 years, she's known her since she was 6. KIELY's family moved into the lodge when KIELY was 7. So I don't know where they were living before they moved into the lodge. I don't know if they were living in Nevada or Montana or California, but Elle says she's known KIELY for 12 years. So if KIELY was unalive at the age of 16 and she knew KIELY for 12 years, that would mean she knew her since she was 4. The math ain't mathin'. Oh, great tie-in, Jazz. Add not this time. We know who won. Oh, I don't know what I tied in, Mark, but yeah, I love adding in the not this time. Not this time. It only works really well if you say it twice. Not this time. Not this time. So I keep repeating myself. Yeah. That's because Elle was in the other room with Dumpster. Oh, that's a good one. So when she put up the shaken paper syndrome, was she saying something to Elle in the other room or at the other side of the room? Is that what it was? Oh, and did I just show my address and phone number and full name? Dang it. Dang it all. Oh my goodness. Okay. Put in the hugs, Hamburglar, Scammy, Lindsay, then put in the hugs. Okay, I'm so confused, Mark. You're way ahead of me. I'm lost in your dust, man. All right. Not this time. Very sus as to why Hambrick would be attending KIELY's celebration of life. Really? I mean, because they were next door neighbors. So I would think that that's fine for him to be there because he knew her since she was 7, maybe. But yeah, to me, that definitely looks like him in the picture that Shan showed. Was it Shan that showed it, or was it Crazy Woman or somebody else? Whoever showed it, the picture. Maybe I'll do like a screenshot of that in a community post because that looks exactly like him. I think it was Shan. No. Shan showed the video, and it was one of our other lovely content creators, not Ninja Chihuahua, but the other one that does a lot of stuff like that. Help me out, you guys. Who did that one? That was a really good video where she put the picture from the celebration of life with the blonde guy, and then she showed the picture of the Hamburglar. Illuminated Minds. That's the one that I always have like the opposite. I have like a freaking brain fart when I'm trying to think of Illuminated Minds. Seriously, every time. Such a great channel. And I'm always like, that channel. What's it called again? It's a great name for a channel too. Thanks, you guys. See. Yeah. Yeah. I think she just showed the video of it. Her friend Kate was a no-show as well. And remember, we all thought Jägermeister was going to be a no-show, didn't we? So yeah, the thing about grotesque and Silence of the Lambs, I mean, the other thing, Lord of the Flies, what did they mean? Like the party was scary. Oh, but it was so boring. I was so underwhelmed. It was underwhelmingly scary or scarily underwhelming. What? You're not making sense. That's a Twilight Zone, Kenny. I want to put a comment out there, though afraid of it becoming a suggested save for who Elle could be. Oh, go ahead, Sandra, please. Yeah, I'm thinking about wrapping up shortly, too. Hambrick being there implies they were more than just neighbors. Maybe he paid for the sandwiches, LOL. Right, the sandwiches that they had to make an announcement to thank the sandwiches. That would make sense that they were Hamburglers. Maybe he brought some stolen Hamburglers, right? I loved the Twilight Zone. Truckanese, as Shan says. I know, I love that phrase. That is the funniest. Kate was removed from the country. Maybe family did already have vacation plans. Timing worked out good for Kate. Yeah, I'd never heard of her having vacation plans, but remember that her uncle was a long-term deputy for Sacramento County, David Cunha, and her grandmother was like an Olympic ski athlete. So Kate had a lot of social clout in that town. And yeah, she got out of there fast. Didn't she move into the lodge with Jägermeister for a minute, and then she like went to England, and she's probably still there? One of the musicians at the lodge or their spouse. Huh. I like that, Sandra. Becoming a suggested save for who else could be. One of the musicians at the lodge or their spouse. Yeah, that part that Elle said about how KIELY, or no, it was actually the dumpster fire, a troll that said that KIELY and her mom had a great relationship, that, you know, they just fought like all parents fight with their teenagers. So yeah, teenagers is a very challenging time of parenting. It's extremely challenging, but I don't think there's any need to really clarify that. Like, that's kind of a given. Everybody knows that, even if they've never had a child, right? Because they were once that teenager. I mean, it's a rough, turbulent time. Kenny, I still watch old Twilight Zones weekly on free Pluto TV. Uh-huh. Yes. Jazzy. You guys are so awesome. So yeah, it was always alleged, consistently alleged, that there were 8 kids at the alleged party that had close family as law enforcement. So we know there was a Nate whose dad was the sheriff of Placer County. We know that Kate's uncle was the deputy for Sacramento County. We know that Trinity Backus's ex-stepdad helped in the search for KIELY. That's weird. So Christopher Stanio was a sheriff's deputy under Shannon Moon for Nevada County. So he helped with the search for KIELY, and then what? A month later, a little bit over a month later, his own ex-stepdaughter that maybe was living at his house again, or her mother was living at his house again, goes missing and shows up unalive in a really suspicious situation. And the autopsy says that there's nothing suspicious about this 16-year-old being not living anymore. That's suspicious, in my humble opinion. Yeah. That would be if Elle really knew KR, and yeah, total BS, in my opinion, too. I'm off to eat and be merry, so catch up soon. Take care. Yeah, I'm going to sign off here, too. Sandra, I was just thinking maybe Elle was a regular visitor at the lodge, because I don't think anyone who really loved and knew KIELY would talk about her in that way. Oh, it was terrible when they were not calling her a tramp. I mean, it was insane, wasn't it? It was so horrible. Be well, brother. Enjoy. When I was little, I had a Barbie named Jazz from Barbie and the Rockers. Oh, that's adorable. That is very cool. I had a little doll named Mimi that you could pull a string on her back, and there were little records in her back, and she sang, I'd like to teach the world to sing, in a whole bunch of different languages. Bye, Kenny. Have a great day, everyone. Okay, I'm going to just look at my notes one more time. I think I got it all. And remember, I'm very real. I need to remind you guys, and I know that you guys are all very real too. So just in case there's any confusion. So I wanted to say this, that the dumpster fire a troll made Mrs. G accurate in that BS of her pretending that Mrs. G made a thinly veiled threat, when all she was doing was saying that essentially she thought that the dumpster fire a troll would come up with a reason of why they can't do it live. And then, even though she went ahead and did her live to prove her wrong, here, I'm going to turn my light back on, see how that works. Even though she did it, she then tried to incorporate making Mrs. G look guilty by saying, oh my goodness, somebody shot at her place. And then they tried to rip their house apart with their bare hands. And they definitely remembered to call the police, and they were definitely scared, but they were going to come onto YouTube and talk about it. And she's definitely not a paid actress. Let's be clear on that. And oh my goodness, I'm so glad I caught this. This is the best part, you guys. Are you ready? Dumpster Fire, a troll, said when they were not calling her a whore, that my word, not theirs. Their word was tramp. Okay, I'm turning that off again. She said she wasn't a tramp. She was just expermentalizing. Expermentalizing. She said it. Expermentalizing. It's a new word. We're going to have to get it into the Wikipedia. Expermentalizing. She said it that, you know, the not a tramp was experimentalizing. Experimentalizing is how she said it. Right after she didn't call her a tramp, she said she was just experimentalizing. And she was also experimentalizing, although I think she said it right that time, with the rugs, and that she's definitely not an addict. She was just experimentalizing with, you know, ink. Okay, I'm exhausted on that. Peace out, you guys. We hit 2 hours. It's about my record. 2 hours and 22 minutes, I think, is my real record. So let's see. Thanks. That's so sweet of you to say. Good show. Good show. Great day. Dog needs out. Yeah, don't we all? Let's all get outside. Get your fresh air, get your sunshine, get your water, your coffee, get your mojo on. Really, whatever inspires you. It's so important to allow yourself to follow your bliss, because without your true soul food and inspiration, you ain't got jack, okay? You ain't got jack. So whatever it is that inspires you, you need it. You need it in your life. If it's art, if it's music, if it's chocolate, whatever it is, you need it. New shoes, people, friends, family, YouTube content creators. Let's see. Dumpster girl is evil. Just listen to her cackle. Oh my goodness. And when she's doing this and all the, and I felt so bad using her, an image of her from one of her thumbnails in my thumbnail for yesterday's video. I was like, oh, this is in such poor taste. I can't believe I'm stooping to this level. But I felt like it needed to be done. And then, you know, she just proved me accurate. So I was like, yeah, that really needed to happen. Is that in Ryan's dictionary? Experimentalizing. Because, yeah, be the mental, right? OMG. Okay. Love to all. Have a great day. Yes, great live and chat. You guys make it. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel, our channel. Hope to see you tomorrow. It's Friday, so hopefully you have a fabulous rest of your Thursday, can get some rest, some relaxation, feel productive, feel complete just by being yourself. So your homework is to just be. And on that, sending you light. There we go. And love. Love and light. There we go. I like that. I got it. Got it going on. Thanks for having me here, you guys. Seriously, you mean the world to me.